My name's Murray Alomes. I've lived in this Nangelock-Kilignan area for 32 years now. Seems a long time. I've been in the CERT for 8 years since I was a founding member. I've had 6 children out here, and the place has been a wonderful place to bring a family up. I originally came out from New Zealand 34 years ago, and I was going to do the big trip around Australia. And believe me, I've met lots of people in this area that were doing the same thing. I got to Nangelock with my wife at the time and 2 children, and we stayed here. The name itself, Kilignan, actually was the name of a tribal chief out here at the time for the Aboriginal tribe. And when they settled the area, they called it Kilignan. And then as time went, the area followed along the river, got bigger and bigger. There was a post office at Kilignan, and they decided we better put one down here, and which they did. And then they said, oh, what are we going to call it? And the Postmaster General said, well, what if we spell Kilignan backwards and call it that? And there you go, Nangelock. CERT stands for Community Emergency Response Team. We've been going for 8 years now. I was the original founding member at the time. We're under the umbrella of Ambulance Victoria. We've been placed out in these remoter areas to give vital, time-critical support. We've got all the stuff in the back of the car to sustain a life, give pain relief until the ambulance arrive. We've had people here that, like a child with a broken leg, he lay on the ground for 2 hours before we started. So that gives you an idea. And the communities said, hey, what are we going to do? And that's where the ambulance service stepped up and got these CERT groups put in place. It was the communities that pushed for it. We started off with about 25 members, and we're down to 10, but we've got 6 about to be trained, which is good. And it's good for the area.
I'm Julie McEwen. I've lived here for about 42 years, and so I've been a member of CERT for about 2.5 years.
I'm Kirsten Chislett, and I've lived here for 15.5 years. I've been part of the team since we started 8 years ago. I'm married with 3 children, and that's why I joined.
My name is Alan Peake, and I live on a fruit property in Kilignan. And I've been living here for 13 years, and I've been a CERT volunteer for 2 years now, and it's probably one of the most rewarding things I've ever done to help people.
My role in CERT is I'm the group leader. I sort of have to deal with any issues involving the CERT, dealing with Ambulance Victoria, which we're under their umbrella. They supply everything, car, all our supplies, everything they supply. The guys get on really well, but like in any organisation, sometimes you have your little moments and that, and I've had 6 children, so I can sort it.
What inspired me to become a CERT volunteer is the knowledge that the people do need some assistance out here.
The relief on their face to see you come in and help them is just something you can give back to the community. And I love helping people. It's just really rewarding.
Well, when I signed up, I had 1-year-old twins, and I never wanted to be the person that stood there and said, I don't know what to do if they were hurt, or I wanted the skills to help and get people through that.
Any medical help that you can give these people beforehand, before the paramedics arrive, is so vital.
Our figures are normally around 30 plus call-outs a year. There is 29 CERT units throughout Victoria, 307 active members, and they average from some stations 2 call-outs a month to 35 call-outs a month. So when you start doing the figures, it's a lot of call-outs that CERT actually do.
We attended a burns victim, and it was one of my very first ever call-outs, and it was a pretty daunting thing to witness, but It was a young Asian girl that a caravan exploded. We possibly saved her life, I believe, and that just shows you the value of what we do out here.
I think I'd actually be frightened if we didn't have a unit here. Two of my boys ride motorbikes. I'm never more secure than when I've got the CERT car parked in my driveway.
The time frame for us in general depends whether you get out fast asleep in bed and you get out and you have to run around to find a pair of undies to put on. But normally the time would be about 10 minutes, quarter of an hour. A CERT team member is notified by pager, which comes from Ballarat. We get to the radio as quick as possible in the car, call them up. We are in communications with their communications, which is Esther Ops in Ballarat. Tell them that we're on our way, and off we go.
Also, you've got to make sure he hasn't had any
In Ballarat, we've got a clinical team that if we think we've got a problem, we can call them up. The car's decked out with oxygen, defibrillator. We've got the drugs, we've got Penthrain for pain, we've got Anginine for cardiac chest pain, we've got a spinal board, we've got cervical collars. The car is pretty well everything you need for a trauma response.
You'd be surprised something like that.
Yeah, of course, that.
For a child that's scared, it helps them so much.
We're going to take it home. With our CERT teams, we have to do a training of 3 hours a month. We usually do 11 months a year.
It's usually on a Tuesday once a month for 3 hours from say 7 till 10, and we get a paramedic that comes out and teaches us different aspects of what we have to know and learn. And
Having skills that I never thought that I'd just have, and know things just off the top of my head that I've been taught. Everybody in the community knows that you're a CERT member, and you're sort of first in their thoughts if they need to call an ambulance.
Probably 70% of the calls would actually know the people, and they feel pretty relaxed when you arrive. And one of our biggest things we have is reassurance. I had a guy that was stabbed once, and I spoke to him and tried to keep him there. They actually ended up having to send another ambulance out, and as it turned out, he had a nicked lung and a punctured heart sac. If he had gone to bed, he would have died. No two ways about it. But he survived, and I sat back after that and I went, wow. I saw him down the pub the other week and he shouted me a beer. How cool is that?
we get cards and letters and things, and just to see those come in and to read them, that's a rewarding part of the job, to know that we help people and make them better again, because no one deserves to be suffering.
Volunteers are very hard to get, and to get a dedicated bunch like this, got these guys here, it just makes you so proud to have them. And I think once the new ones start and they go out for the first couple of call-outs, it just blows them away. They just go, wow, I love this.
Getting back to my son, he became a member of CERT, and it made up his mind for him what he wanted out of life, and he wanted to become a paramedic. So he actually got into uni as a mature age student, and he has just finished and had started work in Irimple about 2 weeks ago, and we had his graduation in Melbourne yesterday. So
It bonds the people.
It really has changed my life, I think, for me personally, for the better. As I said earlier, I think it's one of the most rewarding things for me personally that I've ever done. And just to see the general acceptance and the happiness that we do give the people out here, and that's something you can always take in, and it's something that's really special for me in my heart. So
My real dream is just, we put all this time in, I just want to see it keep going. Doesn't have to get bigger, just keep going.